Good morning. My name is Alonzo Jones. Today's date is July 15th, 2016. This is my mock interview. Tell me about yourself. I've been in the law enforcement field for over 28 years. I really enjoy the field as it gives me the opportunity to meet law enforcement professionals throughout the country. It gives me great pleasure when I see that I have made someone's day better after I have served them. One of the things that I have been successful at in my career is integrity and professionalism. I do this by focusing on our training and development program, which has increased awareness everywhere that I have worked. I am interested in the Department of Social Security because of its strong reputation of putting people first and its commitment to their employees. Tell me about your past work experience. I had many years in the law enforcement field, and I have attained many skills along the way. One is my ability to get the best out of employees through training and development. I am skilled in operational improvement by being able to interpret problems and make changes based on the information I have attained. I also specialize in multi unit management, which has helped me excel in my career. Describe a time when you work well on a team situation. We had a disturbance in the facility that we knew employees were not going to get off until the disturbance was over, and each employee had to be interviewed by the Internal Affairs Division. So it was five supervisors. We decided we needed to come up with a solution so employees can meet with the Internal Affairs prior to them departing the facility in a timely manner. The actions we took, we all came together to discuss what changes need to be made. We then made a plan to divide our employees into smaller groups, and five supervisors will also conduct investigate interviews with the Internal Affairs Division. All the priority interviews went to the Internal Affairs Divisions, and the less priorities the five supervisors handled. At the end of at the end of this, the results was all the interviews were finished in a timely manner, cut overtime by 50%. So the department was so happy with the change and what happened that they instituted this into a policy. So now every time we have a disturbance, the supervisors will assist internal affairs with the investigations. Tell me about a time when you had many things to do and had to prioritize your task. The situation was my supervisor gave me multiple assignments with a short deadline. I had an upcoming budget process that needed to be completed within the next week. So I needed to get all these projects going, and I needed to make sure that they are all received detailed attention and that it meet my supervisor and the agency's deadlines. So the action I took, I sat down and listed the projects that I was working on, and made myself a timeline on when I would work on each project and when the deadlines for each project. Since my budget needed to be completed first, I scheduled myself to work on them every day in the morning. This gave me enough time to complete them. I then scheduled my afternoons for the projects wasn't had less priorities. The end result was by doing this plan and sticking with it, I was able to complete all projects on time. Tell me about a time when you had to go above and beyond the call of duty. How did you handle this situation? The situation was the Department of Corrections was going through a historical event, getting the ACA accredited for the first time in history. The task was I was asked to go spearhead the undertaking with no budget. So the action I had to take, I went to talk with all the employees to see can anyone assist me in cleaning the jail without being compensated for the help. So I started a volunteer list to help get the jail clean. The end results, after putting the volunteer list out, I had over 100 employees volunteer the Saturday before the jail went through the inspection, and we got a 98% on the inspection. And the good thing about that, no employee was compensated overtime, but we did reward them in other ways. Tell me about a time when you worked effectively under pressure. Situation. We had just been awarded a grant from the federal government for 6 dogs, 3 drug dogs, and the other 3 dogs were tracking dogs. The task I needed to coordinate to build a kennel on grounds for 6 dogs. The action took, I first made a list of everything that needed to be done, met with all necessary parties, plus vendors. The results, by making these plans and sticking with the plans, I was able to complete all of the tasks in the kennels open 2 weeks after the initial meeting. Give me an example of a time you showed initiative. Situation. Our contract institution was called CCA, was going to host a conference for the first time, and we're going to be inviting some law enforcement vendors who had never done the event inside the institution. Many of these vendors had questions that the institution could not answer. While CCA staff had coordinated many events in the past, no one knew anything about law enforcement vending and what they would need to provide. So I volunteered to help my director and be the liaison between the vendors and CCA. The task I needed to be the person that the vendors could go about and talk to about the setup of the event. Actions. I spoke to each vendor and answered all their questions about locations, where they came, set up tables, and where they were permitted to set all this stuff up. The other things on display were put at the training academy. Results: all vendors had a good time, and they and my director was very happy. The vendors were successful, and I received several letters of accommodations from the vendors who rewarded several rewarded several contracts from the event. Is there anything else you will like to know about you? Yes, I'm someone who constantly looks for ways to improve the operation in something. Sometimes that means that I am the one who needs to be changed. I do this by being open to new ideas from my team and taking into serious consideration that ideas and feedback. For me, in order to be a leader, you also have to know how to follow. How would you describe an ideal day for yourself? My ideal day would be very stress free. It includes being proficient, diligent, and working as a exceptional team member and assisting in accomplishing the overall mission of the agency. What do you like to do in your spare time? Spend time with my family and friends. This concludes my presentation.